Hey everybody, just wanted to say hi. I'm gonna wait for see if a couple of you figure out I'm live. Just gonna jump in just a moment. Sometimes it can take a few minutes for people to recognize that you're live or something. Hey, Gecko. Destiny, hey there. So I'm just kind of checking in and just saying hi. I'm at the airport. Hey, Jessica, good to see you. Karen, hi, all you need. Thank you. Yeah, I'm at the lounge, the Delta Lounge, and it's funny. Destiny just asked if I was excited, and what's funny is that trips, like, I get more anxious before I go, and then once I get there, I'm like, everything's good, I'm fine, kind of thing. And Maxine, where are you in the UK? Yeah, I'd love to know because I'm going to be in London and then I'm going to be in, where else am I going to be? I think Canterbury, and also I'm going out to the Henge, Avebury, Norfolk. Oh, that just sounds so, they say Norfolk, very proper. So yeah, there's just so much going on, you guys, like in terms of, there's a lot of things, I would say, flipping upside down and sideways and all this in a lot of the true crime channels. A lot of things are going on, and one of the things that Maxine, I hope you can come down and see me. One of the things that I really was thinking about is, man, I'm telling you that it's so interesting how, especially as an author, your book comes out or what have you, and you're kind of like stressed. Let me see if I can find the, I do, I have it right here. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I brought the deck with me. It's very interesting because, one of the things that's going on, and you guys have heard me talk about this quite a bit, is this whole thing around, what was it? Forgive me, my brain. Can I be honest? I got up at like 6 o'clock this morning, my time, and it's 4 o'clock here. So I'm kind of like finally just sat down. Maxine, come see me. If you go on to my, great, Destiny, I'm glad you're doing that. Go onto my website, go to torihartman.com/events, and then you'll see there's a couple different things. Click on the one that says UK, and you'll see where I am in the different days. I think I am going to Canterbury. I think I'm going to be at the Waterstones there. I know, coffee, right, Jessica? You haven't met me on coffee, okay? It's like, I think I did a couple of my broadcasts like that. I was talking a little bit like this, and people were freaking out. I know what I was going to say is the idea of diversity versus inclusion, and it's very interesting what's going on overall with that conversation. And read a great article about that yesterday, and what I really talked about is the myth of diversity, because what's going on is that in order to be diverse, what's happening is people are putting down other people. In other words, oh, well, that's not diverse, so it doesn't count. Well, how do you know? How do you know there's not an inclusion conversation around things, right? So I think it's very interesting to see what's going on. I'll be talking about that more. No, Rudy, I won't be going to Cleveland at this point, but who knows? I'm actually, right now as we speak, I'm working on a proposal that when I get off with you guys, I'll probably just jump on and work on that for a little while. But I just wanted to kind of, thank you, Destiny. Destiny, you nailed it. The illusion of separation, individuations of the whole. That's a really interesting point. Yeah, Kim, I'm going to let them fly the plane. That's my new thing. If I sit there and try and control it, I get into trouble. When's my flight? It's 4 o'clock now. I think my flight's at 8. I think I have an 8 o'clock flight, and it's like one of those all-nighters, so I get into London at like 9:30 their time, and and then I'm gonna go out with my friend. We're gonna, oh, you're only on the East Coast, Maxine. You're not too far. I'm doing a full day at the College of Psychic Studies, which I am really excited about. And that's going to be a full day of working with your intuition, how cards work. And I think I want to do a little bit more about the myth of, of cards as being some kind of woo-woo dangerous thing. It's 8:58 p.m. here. Well, you better get to sleep because you got a busy week if you're coming to see me, Maxine. I'll tell you, she's like, okay, I'll come to London. And I'm also going to spend some time at the YouTube space in London. So I'm going to, you got to make it a mission. You go. And the full day at the Psychic College, the College of Psychic Studies, usually as a speaker, they'll let you stay there for a night or two. No, this is not staying at the College of Psychic Studies. That place is haunted. I mean, it is creepy. I just hate to say it. It's fabulous, but oh my goodness, morning, got to walk the woofer. Yeah, you gotta walk your dog, you animal. So a couple things that I wanted to say. Let's see. Oh, Rudy, you just said the biggest racists are the people trying so hard to prove they aren't. Not just. You know something? That is the biggest truth of it all, isn't it? Because here's the thing. We all have prejudging, right? We all kind of look at somebody and we make up a whole story in our head. Well, that used to be called creativity. Now it's like you can't have any thoughts. And that's the funny thing is that I've noticed just a friend of mine put a video up about, and I've known her for years, she put a video up about my cards, and it was really kind of good. She walked through the deck and talked about what it was. And there was, a couple people who were like, it's another deck of all women and there's no diversity. Well, if I remember correctly, there was a time when women were marginalized. Do you all remember that? Anybody old enough to remember that? That when women at one time were considered part of the minority because we were marginalized. And, I think this is the thing is that you forget when I did this deck, this is like huge, when we look at this, it's like a huge thing of like, there's elegance and mastery and mystery in the female. And, there's never been a female fool, in that journey. And it's an energetic, spiritual journey. And it's, Rudy, you're so funny. Wait a minute. Oh, Rudy, that was okay. Rudy Rico's okay, Jess, just so you know. You can undo that. He's cool. He's like me. Rudy, you have a big mouth. That's what happens. You stay and you get into trouble like me. Yes, you can get this on Amazon. And one of the things I want to say about this is that somebody, a person I've known a long time, said to me, well, there are people of the Asian culture and Indian culture that would think that you have misappropriated the use of chakras because you're not of that culture. And I'm like, okay, all right, can I just have a minute? There's also the conversation about Manhattan being bought for $24 from some Indians years ago. So, I mean, so you're fine, Jess. Don't worry about it. I really appreciate the work Jessica Salas does. My mods are great and all's good. I think that Humanimal, you're saying it best. And I was thinking about this because I'm actually doing, I'm going to be doing some reading, and I'll tell you about it later for a periodical in the UK about Meghan and Harry and the babies. I'll tell you about that. Okay, it says multicultural is not actually natural and deeply ingrained in us to feel more comfortable about people we know to be the same. And I think the deck is beautiful. Nothing wrong with it. I have to say that the idea of multicultural, and this is the biggest thing. I was sitting at the airport. Well, I'm here, but I was sitting next to a woman, and she's from Poland. And I said, "Oh, you're from Poland?" I said, "Half of my family's Polish." And she looked at me. She had a very broken English accent. She said, "It's funny." She said, "Here in America, I hear a lot of that. People say to me, 'Oh, that side of my family's Polish, and the other side is Hungarian.' That's mine." But and she was saying, "That's so funny." She said, "We don't have that in Poland." That's right, you don't. Because you see, we are all multicultural. This is the big cosmic joke, okay? So the truth is, you can go to any country, but you can't become a Pole. You can't become a Mexican, but you can become an American. And I think that's a really important distinction when we talk about, the idea of inclusion, you know, and I think that's really key. So when we're talking about feeling included and being included, I'm sorry, kids, but if you're an American, chances are you already are multicultural. And I don't care if, because in some circles it's still like, oh, that's Hungarian. Years ago it was like Irish were the ones that everybody went, oh, you don't want to be that. I'm looking at this because everything's going on. Okay, the U.S. is a place for a blend of cultures, and I think it's a beautiful thing. It is, and here's the thing that's happening here, though. People are becoming crazy because they're going, well, you're look, it's a white person, so that means that there's no black people. Well, no, there aren't in here. There just aren't. My other deck, I mean, look, check this out. There's only 18% men in here, too. This is a very pronounced feminine energy deck. It's about the journey of the Fool, ultimately, is about reclaiming your life, and I think that, oh, I love that. Saw a video of baby crying. Her father was doing the sound Om. She fell asleep immediately. Is that related to chakras? Yes. The Om sound is third eye and seventh chakra. Actually, they're both used in that way. And the thing to keep in mind is, authentic Archer, you're so cool. No, that's the funny thing. It's and I know you're saying that humanimal in a good way, like you don't have to defend your deck, but I think there's something about, and forgive me for putting it this way, but a pushback, for years and years and years to to be as a female. I mean, my God, when I was 25, I had my own stuff. I was working crazy. And I think that when we look at this stuff, when we look at not reclaiming ourselves, and I have to tell you, it is the divine feminine in all of us that has to be honored. This isn't about this bull dinky of, toxic masculinity. Stop that. What it really is about is it's disempowered females who give everything away. And what happens is that little boy thinks he is just the coolest thing ever. When I'll never forget, y'all are going to love this. So years ago, my dad's friend, April, right? She had a son, who was like 17. I was like 14 at the time, right? And so I went to visit them in Brooklyn, and I was walking with April, and we're walking up the street. And April's son's walking right in front of her, and she hits him in the back of the head. He goes, Mom, what are you doing that for? What are you doing? And she said, that's because I got to smack some sense into you. He said, I wasn't doing anything. She said, I know what you were thinking. And I think that one of the things you want to look at is that, as women, as mothers, we do have that. And by the way, I'm just a mom of pets. But, when you think about it, the energy of taking care and mothering and teaching and helping others grow, that's all the mother in all of us. So whether you've physically given birth or you're giving birth to, creativity, I think that the big danger is cultural, and Destiny just said it, appropriation. It is the most dangerous thing we can have because, you see, you can't think about anything that others don't approve of. And, I'm seeing this more and more where, the problem is like people are saying, well, we need more people of color. Well, I get that. All right. I really do get that. And I'm not trying to put that down. But here's the thing. And I'm going to share, y'all ready for a little story? No, for a little Tory story. So I went to high school performing arts. Okay. Thanks, Cheryl. I went to high school performing arts in New York City. Fame, that's where I went to high school when it was that. And you had to audition. And there were only 30 kids in the freshman class. And just so you know, like thousands audition, right? But my uncle and his his husband, well, his boyfriend, they never, or his partner, right? My uncle and his partner, his partner worked at the high school. And so I always thought, because my dad said, I got it on the down low. We got you. You're in. Da da da. So I always thought that my uncle's partner, did something to get me into the school. And you know what's funny? For years, I felt less than. I felt like I didn't deserve to be there because there were other kids more deserving. And then one day, I remember turning to my dad and saying, you know, I just always felt like I wish I had gotten that on my merit. And he went, what do you mean? I said, well, I wish I'd auditioned and gotten in. He said, you did? I said, no, but you told me you talked to. He goes, no, I talked to Dan, and he found out early, but we didn't help you. And you see, that's the thing that can mess people up more than anything, is that you're going to get ahead not because you have the talent and not because you have what it takes, but because you're somehow underprivileged, right? Or less than. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that there are certain, we want to give people a hand up or a head start, but we've got to teach people manners, kids. I'm telling you, when did it become cool to be stupid and snarky and mean? I mean, I'm looking at all these YouTube creators that are like millions and millions and millions of followers, and it's like they're like 13, and I don't mean they not all are, but it's just like, I'm looking at this and going, there comes a point, and Humanimal said it, it's not about defending myself. It's more about being a stand for everyone's voice. And if I let people just run roughshod over me and say, oh, well, this is what it is, it's just some feminine deck. Well, wait a minute. And I go back to, and I say to you one more time, women in general have been marginalized. It is less important, okay, if a woman is murdered than if a man is murdered. And I don't care what anybody says. Now we can take it one step further. And absolutely, if we look at, and I got to tell you, anybody here from the UK? I think, anybody here, let's see. Empowering yourself, right on. In a perfect world, we wouldn't see the differences in the vessels that house us, but rather we'd see the similar. See, this is what I'm saying, Destiny. The more we turn around and go, wow, those poor F people, whatever they are, the red people, the green people, whatever. The more we type them, the more we're saying, oh, you're just different than me. It's like, what is it that we have the same of, right? So I'm going to share this with you because I have a friend in London, right? And who's the little girl that disappeared? Do you remember? She just, oh gosh, I can't think of her name right now. I know you guys are going to know. It's the family was on vacation and she was kidnapped from the bed. And the British government has spent millions of dollars to try and find this kid. Have you read up on that at all, you guys? Do you know who I mean? McCann, that's it, the little girl. Thank you, all unite. Yeah. Okay, Madeleine McCann. So I have a couple friends who are in the UK and they are furious. Now, these are white people, all right? I want to be very clear. And one of them made a very good point to me, which I think we go back to, which is that, they're spending millions and millions. I don't know how much more. I think they just tried to get another $1.5 million to look for this little girl. Okay, cool. United Arab Emirates. Okay, cool. So what I want to say is they're spending millions to find this little girl. But, they made a point to me, which I hadn't thought of because I don't live in the UK, but they said, yeah, I think Humanimal might be right, so check out her post. But one of the things I think is very interesting is if that was a black family, I want y'all to imagine now, okay, same circumstance. And this is what my friend in the UK said, same circumstance, but a black family. What do you think the press and the police would think? Right. They were all sitting out there drinking beer, acting, crazy, not paying attention to their kids. The kid, see, you can look at exactly no press, no nothing. It would be radio silence. Now, this becomes important because it's not so much for me about, the racial differences. But because even if we put the same people, all right, let's pretend they're black and they're the same people. They're sitting out by the pool, they're having a nice dinner, they're very sophisticated, but we change the color of their skin. What do you think the public is going to think of them? The public's going to automatically think less because they've been typecast in that role. And I think that's where we need to really look and admit, hey, this is what's going on, right? So I think that, let's see. I wonder, I wonder about that, Cruise Boston. And by the way, thank you for all you do. And I think that's the thing. It's like, I think that we have to, because what people are trying to do is they're saying it's systemic. It's a systemic problem. But I wonder if it's more about treating everyone's loss as a loss. Now, here's the thing. Unfortunately, in another country like that, we're not going to we probably won't know as much. We probably won't get into it as much. But I'm just saying that, what did Marie say? I'm 50-50 on that they have to do something with their death and 50 not, whether they did or not. You just don't leave your child in a room alone in a country you don't even know. You just don't do that. That, but all of them did it, right? Because they're like kind of in this, they think they're safe. But again, I have to tell you, exactly, Rudy Rico. I think that's the thing. It's time to kill. His speech at the end, if the white girl was killed. Yeah, I think the thing we have to look at though is have less outrage about the difference and more observation about the difference. In other words, what I'm saying is, that's interesting, and I'm just throwing this out to all of you as an opening, as a thought, right? What if we all look at this just as humans, right? And we go, what's the first image in your head if I say to you, I think it was 4 families, so there would be 8 parents, and in this case, there were 8 parents and I don't know how many kids, right? If I say they were black, what's the first image that goes into your head? Think about that for a minute. Now, if I said they were Asian, or if they were Indian, do you notice how everybody, every group, we have a different image of them and a different judgment? So I just say this because I'm thinking that the way we're looking at this, we have to look at the individuals. We have to, and see, I think there's something to what goes back to the idea of individuating, but I think we have to take everything case by case. And unfortunately, what's happening is exactly, thank you, Rosie, or Middle Eastern, I think the thing to look at is that how we would perceive the different people. Hello, Karen. Thank you for the super chat. That's great. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I think that we really have to look at the idea. Oh, my nail color is the same as your super chat. But I think we really need to. Here's the thing, Dawn. People don't get treated fair and square, and we know that. So even within, let's say within the white community, we've got different levels, right? You know what I'm saying? There's people who don't have much, and there's people who got a lot. And let's look at another thing that really has been coming up. I love you all, unite. Another thing that's been really coming forward to me about, especially as I'm thinking about, hey, Starflower, I'm really thinking about the relationship between Harry and Meghan Markle. And, I've been reading a lot of stuff with the, just a lot of British press about, how they see her and how they judge her. And I'm not saying that good or bad, that's not it. It's just that there's a preconceived notion, right? But something that hit me, and I was driving, y'all tell me what you think. Hi, Divine, good to see you. I wonder about this, and I wanted to throw this out to all of you, is the idea that I wonder if we took right now, if we look at Meghan Markle, and we look at the fact that she had like complete white trash. Dad, stepsisters, but look what a classy mom she has. But you notice how we don't really talk about Doria. We don't really talk about her mother. Yet Meghan is completely different than the other kids in that family. Oh, I'm talking about Meghan Markle, Dawn. I'm talking about Meghan Markle and her her father. Yeah, I have had short hair. Yeah, her father is like complete white trash, and she's got this classy mom. like, and I think that when we're looking at that, have we ever really stepped back and went, you know, um, wow, what a great mom she has? No, we haven't. It's, excuse the expression, mum's the word. I mean, it's silent. And the thing is that it's kind of like the press really goes after the news, the white trash dad, and but wait a minute, Meghan has a classy mom. She really does, and she's very lucky. Thank you. Yeah, Edie Scorpio. I think one of the things we really want to get is that, and this is something that I've been thinking about, and probably some of the stuff I'm going to talk about is that, when I'm interviewed about this stuff, is that the thing that we want to look at is that, you know, Megan is an American, okay? She's an American. And so we have to remember the idea of, oh, she's mixed. No, she's an American. Like, I really want to start looking at people as, no. And by the way, I think I told you I have about this length. My hair, I'm trying to think of how short. I kind of had it super short. But I want to just say this too, is that, be proud of your culture. America is a pretty freaking cool, like, it's a cool country. And I think that, we, look at somebody like Meghan Markle. She's one step away from being like the stepsister, who is just, another trash thing going on. So what I want to say is we really need to look at how people in our country can pull themselves up. And you know what's funny? They only need one good parent. I want you to really get that. And you know what? You don't have to be the biological parent to be a good parent and to guide somebody younger into their own greatness. And I think that's all our responsibilities. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I know, Rudy, you meant good parents don't get news coverage. That's not exciting. See, I think it's real exciting. I think if we really start saying what's exciting to us, what's really sexy? Talking stuff out. Having that, like I was really snarky with somebody like 2 days ago because they pissed me off, and she responded back and said something else, and I just wrote her today, and I went, you know what? I'd like to have a discussion with you. I don't want to have this, this kind of throwdown on social media. It's just the dumbest thing you can ever do. I'm leaving it long, John. Long hair. My hair will be long. That's it. And thank you, Dawn. Your stepfather raised you since age 5. I'm going to tell you something. If you have a good parent, okay, a good parent, and they don't have to be biological parent, okay? John's like, am I going to cut my hair short? No, I'm not going to cut my hair short. I'm really digging the length, and I don't have any plans anytime soon. But there we go. Please have to be willing, although I don't understand. A true Cinderella story. Yes. And you know what? It's a wonderful story for Meghan Markle. And here's the thing, okay, let's see. Yes. Here's the funny thing. Jessica Salas said, take the ancestry test. And I'm going to tell you something. If we're all related, then why are we calling diversity skin color? I want to know the character of the person. I don't know if you guys know, that's a great quote by Martin Luther King, and it's about character. And if you don't have character, if you don't have some decency, No, Black Rose, you were fun, kind of funny. Let's see, where else are we? Yes, thank you, Black Rose. You do have to be willing to talk. Yeah, you know what? I have a link for ancestry.com on my website. So if you click it, I think I get $1 or something. I look zen. Can I tell you something? I am so freaking zen. I'm flying business class, which is kind of like, it's kind of nice. And let's see. Yeah, you know what, Evie? It is about the content of your character. Dawn, what are you too paranoid about? Cruise Blossom is so cute. Let's see. Exactly. Complete shock on their face if you're polite to them. And you know what? We got to do it anyway. It doesn't matter if people are rude. We've got to behave well. We've got to be those people because let me tell you something. They're not learning it at home. And it's not their fault. These parents are checked out, and at a certain point, I mean, I really want to do, and I'm going to do this when I get back. I kind of want to put my head together a little bit. I think that, oh, you got your chakra wisdom cards from me. Yay! I'll talk about that. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. I think that, well, you totally, Lisa B just threw the, I'm going to tell you something, Rosie McGee. I think the future of the world is pretty freaking hopeful. And I'm going to tell you why I think that. Because I think that the times when we've said, oh my God, it's going to end, are usually the times we can look back on and go, wow, that was a great time in my life. And so, the more people try to fight stuff, the more I sit back and go, you know what? It's like there was a quote that was used in my yearbook. And it's a Billy Joel quote, which I loved. It was, they say these aren't the best of times, but they're the only times I've ever known. So, the best of times can be phenomenal for you. I can't think of the movie, but anyway, let me go back to Lisa, because Lisa asked me about the abortion law what do you think of the abortion law in Alabama? Well, first of all, let's just throw this part out. It's completely unconstitutional, okay? Because Roe versus Wade is the law of the land. And even the Supreme Court justices who are conservative have said that's not being touched. But here's the thing. You're looking at knee-jerk reactions to the abortion law that went through in New York full term. So I think you're going to find that people, it's really, if we go deeper than just the abortion issue, it's really people who are trying to prove to each other they're right. That's really what it comes down to, is New York is trying to show just how much they'll support women, and California is trying to show just how much they'll support women, and Alabama is trying to show just how much they support family, and so I think at the end of the day, everybody's fighting each other with what they're being a stand for, and it's actually so silly, right? It becomes this, so Alabama's abortion law is completely unconstitutional. But here's something else that I want to remind everybody of. I looked it up, and the statistic is there's only 6 actual clinics in Alabama that do abortion versus abortions in California, which are over 350 clinics. So the reason I'm saying this is that, Karen, I'm going to get to you in a minute. The thing is to keep in mind is that, even though abortion is legal in North Carolina, I had a friend who needed one. She was carrying a baby that was going to die, one of those, I forget if it's Tay-Sachs, I forget what it is. And so she and her husband they have kids. And so she just said, I'm going to get this, this procedure. Well, in North Carolina, she couldn't find anybody to do it. So she went home to California and she got it done by a good doctor. And the thing is that this has been going on for a long time. There are very limited places you can go anyway. I think what we're looking at is that women are being shamed for making a decision that's incredibly painful. And, and here's how I feel. You ask me how I feel. I don't want to be a part of one of the most gut-wrenching decisions you might ever make. And I certainly don't want the responsibility for it. So the way I feel is that my own body, It's not right for me, but that doesn't mean it's not right for you. And I can't say what you know, it's just none of my business. Okay, it's just none of my business. And I lost a friend because she and her husband are very, very right to life. And so I feel that the extremes on both sides of the channel is just ridiculous. People are like, in the old days they blew up clinics. And now they're kind of like, saying we're going to lose these rights. Well, while you're running around thinking you're going to lose your rights, life is going on. And, I think that we really have to look at as on a whole, in the totality of everything. The thing I say to people I'm working with is, how important is it? How important is it? And if it's something you stand for, go fight it. But I remember I have a friend who's like, oh, you got to go fight this. You got to go fight this. And I'm like, I don't want to fight it. And she's like, what do you mean you don't want to fight it? I said, it's not important enough to me. And she was like, I can't believe you'd say that. And I'm like, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, people are going to have to meet their maker. They have to face their own music. And I think we pay our own price in this lifetime. So, we got to stop the spitting. Thank you, all unite. I really appreciate it. I don't think we're not going to see that. There's not going to be back alley abortions. Let me tell you something. There are now in Alabama. I mean, the truth is, you've only got six clinics there anyway. And I don't think you're going to see that, Franklin Doll. I really don't. I think that that's the scare tactic. And see, that is the scare tactic of the left, and the right has the scare tactic of, you're sinning against God. And it's like, guys. Like, the thing is that I just don't think it's any of my business. My business is what I do with my body. That's my business. I will support you in what your choice is, because I can't imagine the pain people go through to make that kind of decision. Prousman, I don't know what that means, Rosie, sorry. 1P flanky dish people. I don't know what that is. Wait. Let's see. Do you think it'll slow down or stop rape or incest? No. Mm-mm. I think you're always going to see those crimes. I just think that it's just going to be that it's awful. And, that's where it comes down to speaking up. And it goes back to also what Humanimal said to me about, you don't have to defend your work. Of course I do. I have to be a stand for it. Would you defend your child if your child was out there being slapped around? Yeah, you'd be like, bring it on. So, we have to know exactly, Nikki. We have to know that we're a stand for something. And remember, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. So everybody has to, take on what matters to them. Yeah, Nikki, unfortunately, that's what happens, is people go to other states if they need a procedure. I got to tell you, there's certain things I wouldn't have done in my home state. Hey, Duty Wrong, good to see you. And really appreciate your friendship, and just a solid human. I can't imagine having to make the decision either. Having a child changes one's life, and the guy in the background is too loud. I know, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to tip this down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's the thing, Evie Scorpio. I know all of a sudden it got noisy. You know what I think happened? A flight just came in, so people are like, So I am just sending you all some super, super large amount of love and light. Please remember that you can still go on to Patreon. And my Patreon's only $5 a month right now. I haven't worked on other levels yet because I haven't decided. Let's see. Angelina, it still haunts 30 years on. You see, this is the thing I want to say, Humanimal, that, this is not an easy decision for a woman to make. And I think that we have to respect people's right to make them. even like, and I think, when people talk about, and I have to say this, when people talk about, oh, those Christians who are trying to, kill abortion, stop, excuse the pun. And the thing is that they fervently believe this. They fervently believe it. And so I get that. But, we have to live in a society with each other. There we have it. What's up in the craziness today? Cosmos must be in a funk. I'm telling you, people were insane today. Yeah, well, you're starting to hear about it right now, Carla. This is the beginning of my trip. Yeah, I'm heading to London. Hold on 1 second. Oh, upside down. There we go, right side up. And how can I pull a card? Is it, oh God, full moon. That's why those flights were canceled last night. They had horrible storms in the UK. I'm so glad I'm getting to fly. I'm going to pull one card. Tori, we're coming up on a full moon. Okay, I hope it's not one in the air. Although I think it's really pretty. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to ask for wisdom of spirits, Four of Cups. So what's interesting about this is that she's looking at the one cup she's being offered. Now, in the traditional Four of Cups, it's a guy looking at the three cups that are spilt. In this one, she's looking, it's a heart chakra, so it's about opening our heart. She's looking at the gifts she does have. And I feel, Duty Ron, I kind of feel like this is a message for you too about, that heart opening. The thing that happens, the more in some ways, the more tragic our situation, the more we get, I think, almost like an egg, we get cracked open and we become more sensitive to other people's feelings and emotions and, what they're going through too. So yeah, I think that, so that's what I picked up on that. Fairies, that's a good one, Dawn. I like that. And Karen says there's no treatment for pedophiles that go get around law. Oh yeah, I mean, anybody who's a lawbreaker, anybody who's doing something that's harming other people is probably not someone that is thinking of their goal of going to college. You know what I mean? They're not, like, that's not a goal they have. Yeah, there you go. Destiny. Personally, I don't support abortion, not because of my religious reason, but because of my feelings about life. However, I don't support banning it outright because we would be just as bad off. And I think kind of honestly, Destiny, I think that's more along the lines of how I feel. Like, it's just not right for me. And, I love the idea of life, but I also feel like, I don't know. I don't sit in your head. I don't know what's going on with you, Oh, thank you, Frank and Doll. I got to say the deck is even more beautiful than the camera picks up. I have to tell you, I just started working with it. You have to understand, I create this, right? And so it's kind of like on like scraps of paper and, little Post-it notes. And so, but when it comes together and I get to see the whole thing, it's like game on, So that's another thing is that I talk about the real the real root, if you will, of our chakras in my next book that's coming out in November. Let's see. That card hit me hard. My children are hurting as their dad left us. So hard, but he wasn't prepared for parenthood. They just worry I'll not live long with systemic lupus. 15 years. You know what, Angelina? I'm going to tell you something. And this is for all parents, all kids, people who've lost parents. I've lost both my parents. It's the cliche of people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And parents are a lifetime. Whether they're alive or not, it doesn't matter because they're there for the life. And the truth is that what you give them now is what matters. The only thing that matters is what's real in the moment, because none of us are promised tomorrow. None of us. I've seen both. I've seen someone who lives to be 97 and heartbroken that her father died at 97, and she was, I think, 68 or something. And I've seen I've seen a young man die with a 3-year-old baby, So I guess what I'm saying is that none of us are promised anything. So it really comes down to the idea of, um, you know, not our memory is what keeps things alive. Our memory is what gives us that humanity. So it's like, you know, um, it's one of those things where none of us are given any promise. So, Angelina, you have had that impact on your children already, And remember something else, that we all have karmic agreements with our parents. So the truth is that, your kids are going through what they're going through with their dad because that's what they chose. So just know that, like, we come in and choose certain people and situations because of what we need to learn. It's not like, oh, I'm going to pick Benny, it's like, or I'm going to pick my dad. It's more, we're picking them energetically because we have to learn certain things in life. And whatever you're doing, you're teaching them. So, um, something, remember when I say this to you, Angelina, you are doing more for them. Just the very fact that you want to do more. And the fact that you love them to that capacity, that's something that will stay with them forever. And I know Ron can attest to that if he's around. I wanted to say something. Yeah, both my parents passed too, and Nikki. Um, I think the thing is, I forget where. Uh, okay, I forget. Somebody said it. Marina, what's going on? Yeah, Ron. See, yes, indeed. I think the thing is that, after my father passed, and my father and I were very close, and I will say that after he passed, that whole year, it was amazing how much sensitivity I had to other people and how much I understood the level of pain. So there we go. Okay, bye, Ron. You have a wonderful weekend. I'm gonna go grab some food, and then I'm gonna get on a plane. I'm gonna get in one of those big tubes, and I'm gonna go to the Tube over in London. Um, Free rides and wealth don't make people stronger. Hardship and adversity passing through makes people stronger. I agree with you, Cruise Boston, and I think that if it wasn't for the fact that I had, uh, these challenges, I wouldn't have had anything to say to share with all of you. If you do like the video, everybody, you like the work I'm doing, give it a thumbs up. And it's important just for, what do you call them, statistics. So go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Please like and subscribe as well. Subscribing makes a huge difference. Difficult time brings people together. I agree, Marina. Purple sneakers. All right. So here's the thing I've agreed on. I'm going to let them fly the plane, and that way we know we'll get there. So much love to everybody. Please, please, please definitely like the video and definitely subscribe. It's the best way to find out what's going on. Next time I'll be broadcasting from London. So I'll see you over in the UK. And some of you, I guess I'll meet over there. Much love, everyone. Peace out. Remember, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean, and be kind to each other. You may be the only nice voice or nice nod or smile someone gets all day. Remember that. Safe journey. Yes. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you.